Hey scholars, so in this module we're looking at how the modern world has shaped the late 20th and early 21st centuries. So as we're moving through this module and as you're reading through chapter 22, I want you to think about this big question. Why does the world today feel so connected, and why do problems in one place affect people everywhere? And the answer lies in three major forces. We have technology, globalization, and social change. And these forces are all connected, and together they've reshaped how we live, work, and interact with one another. These are the learning objectives from chapter 22. So as you're moving through chapter 22, see if you can begin to answer these questions as well. But let's start with globalization. So in the modern era, the world became more connected than ever before. People, goods, and now ideas move across borders very quickly. For example, people migrate for work or opportunity, right? I migrated from Texas to Arizona because it was a better job offer. You have people that are migrating from European countries into the US or Canada or even Mexico. So we're moving all over the world. Products are made in one country and sold in another, and technology allows instant communication across the globe. But globalization, it just isn't about convenience. It also creates a lot of challenges. You have a lot of economic inequality, you've got environmental issues, and cultural tensions. So right away, what we see is a key theme. Connection brings both opportunity and inequality. But what made globalization possible? And the answer is technology. And in the 20th century, they saw a massive acceleration in innovation. So we see advances in medical advances, which increase the life expectancy of people. And I have this really cool chart down here. You can blow this up if you can't see it very well in the video, but this is in the year 1800. The average life expectancy was about 32 years, global average. Then in the year 1950, it went up to about 48 years was the life expectancy. And then by 2012, the global life expectancy on average was 78 years. And you'll notice in here, when you do click on this, you'll notice like countries kind of move. So South Korea in 1800 was kind of towards the bottom. But then by the year 1950, it had moved and got a little bit better. And then you'll notice it's one of the countries where the life expectancy is longer. So you can see these different countries, depending on the year, will move throughout this. So take a look at that chart and you can kind of see globally where every country, the major countries stand. We have some third world countries that aren't listed on there. But we also see advances in fossil fuels powered by industry and transportation. Electricity is going to change daily life. Cars and airplanes connected distant places, and then the internet revolutionized communication. Technology didn't just improve life, it really does transform it. But there is also a trade-off with that. Fossil fuels contribute to climate change. Technology can spread misinformation. We've seen that. And not everyone has equal access. So again, you're going to see a pattern here too. Progress creates both benefits and new problems. Let's connect technology and globalization to the economy now. So as the world became more connected, economies became more entwined. Some key developments are growth of global trade, rise of multinational corporations, creation of organizations like the IMF and World Bank, and this is going to lead to more wealth overall, higher standards of living in many places also, but not everyone's going to benefit equally. There are still some major gaps between rich and poor, wealthy and working class people. And we've also seen economic crises like the 2008 financial collapse that showed how connected we all are, but it also showed how fragile the system is. So globalization, yes, it does spread wealth, but it also spreads risk. All of these changes also reshaped how people work. And in the past, most people worked in agriculture. Today, fewer people farm and more people work in industry and services. So what we see is outsourcing of jobs to lower wage countries, growth of unstable and temporary work, and then expansion of consumer culture. So in developed countries like the United States or like China or the UK, many workers face job insecurity. And in developing countries, workers often face poor working conditions. And that shows us that economic change affects everyday life in very real ways. So let's shift from economics to personal life. Modern society has changed how people think about family, gender roles, and relationships. And some major trends that we're seeing are smaller families, increased education, greater personal choice. So, and I put this on here on purpose. This one came from China's one child rule. So sometimes it's the government forces you to have smaller families, but then sometimes it's just a personal choice not to have kids or to have a small family. We also see people are increasing their education. They are moving beyond middle school and high school education and starting to earn their college degrees in greater numbers. And what we see is people today have more freedom in deciding who to marry, how many children to have, and how to live their lives. But these changes also create tension. So, like in many places, there's a clash between tradition, that traditional idea of family, compared to the modern idea of family. Your normal is not my normal. My normal is not your normal or the person next to you, right? My ideas of a traditional family could vary very greatly from your ideas of a traditional family. So, and this is really important when we have this clash between our personal beliefs and what tradition says and what modernity says. And this is especially important globally where different cultures respond differently to change. Probably one of the most important movements that we've seen, global movements, is feminism. Feminism isn't about women taking over. Feminism is about women being treated as equal and seen as equal. And in the 20th century, feminism expanded worldwide, really focusing on equal rights in education and work. We should have equal opportunities of education and equal opportunities when it comes to work and earning a wage. Also, equal opportunities when it comes to political participation and participating more in choices that are going to affect me, and social equality. Feminism does look different depending on where you are. So, in Western countries, like here in the US, it often focused on workplace equality. And in developing regions, it's often tied to poverty, colonialism, and political struggle. And a major global idea emerged: women's rights are human rights. And this shows how global movements are shaped by both shared goals and local conditions. So, as you're reading through chapter 22, try to see if you can connect everything together. So, technology made global connections possible, globalization linked economies and societies, economic changes reshaped work and inequality, social changes transformed families and identities, and global movements pushed for rights and equality. These are not separate stories, they're all connected to one another. For example, so technology enables globalization. Globalization leads to changes in economies. Economic change leads to reshaping society because we now have more time and we can think about what can we do to make our society better now that we are economically stable. Those social changes are going to lead to new movements. So what's the big takeaway here? The modern world is shaped by rapid innovation, global economy, economic connections, and major social transformations. And these forces created more opportunity, more connection, but also more inequality and tension. So the world today, we are more connected than ever, but that also means challenges are shared on a global scale now. It's not just siloed within my own country. It's all for the world to see. So, do you think globalization has helped more people than it has hurt, or created more problems than solutions? So, think about that as you're reading through and doing the assignments for chapter 22 in this module.